The big Swede matches the biggest margin of victory in the 2012 season.
Settle in as we rewind the week with the latest edition of Monday Backspin from PGA TOUR.com.
Thanks for tuning in. I'm Amanda Balionis. We haven't seen this very often on the PGA Tour this season, where our 54-hole leader maintains that advantage and turns it into a victory. But if anyone was going to do it, Sweden's Carl Pettersson was a guy to put your money on at the 2012 RBC Heritage, as he has now converted 4 of 6 54-hole leads into wins, and this time it was in a very convincing manner. Pettersson had a tremendously consistent week, ranking first in both greens in regulation and in putts per green in regulation, while also finishing in the top 10 in putts per round, averaging just 26 putts per day and gaining just over a stroke on the field in strokes gained putting. When you break down the numbers, it's obvious that every part of Pettersson's game is clicking right now, which is what put him in the winner's circle for the 5th time in his PGA Tour career. Pettersson, who is the first Swede to win the RBC Heritage in his 44th year, is now tied with Jesper Parnevik for the most wins on the PGA Tour by a Swedish player. Behind him are guys like Henrik Stenson and Daniel Chopra with 2 each. So with every new player that wins this season, there's a shakeup in the FedEx Cup standings. This victory places Pettersson 4th in the rankings, the highest he's ever been since the FedEx Cup Series began, and he's now chasing Hunter Mahan, Bubba Watson, and Phil Mickelson. And speaking of Bubba Watson, the reigning Masters champion has barely had a moment to breathe since putting on that green jacket, and not just because he's a new father to baby Caleb, but because the whole world wanted to know more about the unique player with the pink club. Watson made his rounds in New York City, visiting with Piers Morgan on CNN, The Late Show with David Letterman, and a slew of other nationally syndicated shows that wanted to know more about the charismatic player. He also made an appearance at the Tim Tebow Foundation's 2nd annual Celebrity Golf Classic at TPC Sawgrass. You can catch all the action from that on PGA Tour.com. Watson will have to get back to work soon, though, because he will be defending his title at the Zurich Classic in just a couple of weeks. Now, for more on what to remember about this beautiful week in Hilton Head, South Carolina, let's throw it out to Bob Stevens of SiriusXM PGA Tour Radio.
Amanda, the folks in Hilton Head love a party. Last year at the Heritage, well, the party happened, but everybody was kind of forcing the grin because they were afraid of the grim news that it might be the last Heritage. Well, in-road RBC and Boeing and the new RBC Heritage has brought the genuine smile, the genuine love of golf that folks in the low country have, brought it back big time. It has been a wonderful week, a week full of smiles, full of excitement, full of a new energy that RBC has brought to this tournament, and the folks in the low country have obviously responded with record attendance. The PGA Tour now packs up and heads towards San Antonio, the Valero Texas Open, and our coverage on SiriusXM PGA Tour Radio will begin at noon Eastern on Thursday. Amanda?
Thanks, Bob. Well, like you said, next up we're heading to Texas, where Brendan Steele will look to defend at the Valero Texas Open. Be sure to keep an eye out for the PGA Tour Today preview on PGA Tour.com Wednesday.